you ready? Are you ready? Showtime.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the Digital Forge Broadcast Network. This Wednesday night, it's our coverage. Race number 3 of the Dash for Cash Xfinity Series here at Pocono Raceway. Known as the Tricky Triangle, 2.5 miles. 3 major corners. And a lot of racing taking place here tonight. As we watch the cars being paced around, due to some technical difficulties early on tonight, we had to switch up our stream. Do apologize for that. Now bring you the live sound down there on the track. Coming into tonight's race, it's Don King, Thomas Axum, Jeff T. Martin, Zach Coyer, and Mark Jackson, your top 5 in points. Two new guys out there tonight. The guys up front, Daniel Roper and that number 61. To his outside, John Hathaway Jr., the number 24, NASCAR. Here we go. Through the final third turn down the front stretch. Pace car set to go into the pits.
Green, green, green.
There's the green flag, and we're off to the race. Into the first turn they go. We got some 3 wide, and somebody's going to get turned.
All right, man. Caution is out. Caution is out.
Into the first turn, into the fray. And our first caution flag flies for the first time here tonight. Thomas Axum looked to be involved in that, so let's go ahead and back it up and see exactly what happened. Bring it down a little bit closer there for you as the cars go into the first turn. You're going to see the 3, almost 4 wide action. The 27 down there on the field, that's Gary Bauer, is going to get hit by the 08, which is Robert Hewlin. Some new guys fielding here, and Thomas Axum is going to get put up into the wall. Michael D'Amico, meanwhile, down below is going to get thrown down onto the field as Danny Rudy goes by. Verlis Felkins going to shed some sparks off that 62. So early on in this race, into the first turn, our first caution flag flies of the night. We're going to take a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll have some driver interviews for you. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
iRacing.com is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all over the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. iRacing's web-based interface allows members to compare stats and test drive any combination of car and track instantly. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 60,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsport organizations like SRO Motorsports Group to deliver virtual races based on the real-life Blancpain GT series. iRacing's Blancpain Endurance Series features team racing, giving members the ability to build a team and participate in races ranging from 3 hours to 24 hours. Additional partners include NASCAR, IMSA, V8 Supercars, IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own 24 hours of Spa, Bathurst 1000, Daytona 500, and many more. iRacing.com, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, this Wednesday night. The battle between Roper and Hathaway Jr. up front. Two new guys to the series here this evening. Back in third position, you've got the 87 of Justin Michael. Looks like Hathaway Jr. has taken the race lead here with 36 to go as he comes out of turn number 3. Down the front stretch. And a little bit of a gap opening up now. As we take a look back, the 87 of Justin Michael right in front of the 14 of Jeff T. Martin. A guy that talked to early on in the race tonight thought he was going to be at the back of the pack, possibly mid-pack. Wasn't too confident in the setup of his car here tonight. That is Nick Reynolds here, the 54, Rockstar Chevrolet Camaro. Georgia driver here today started 11th and he's moved up to the 5th position already in the first few laps. Jump up and take a look up front though. There is your race leader heading into turn number 1 in that 24 NOS Chevrolet Camaro. Excuse me, Toyota Camry. It's John Hathaway Jr. Right behind him, Daniel Roper, a New York driver. It's a little bit of flip-flop action as the 24 started to the outside in second position. This was your pole setter here tonight, back in second position currently. Fast lap time here tonight, 55.03 as they head into turn number 3. Justin Michael now out of turn number 3. Started 5th, he's up in 3rd position, the Virginia driver coming across the start-finish line. Down towards the first turn he goes. Into lap traffic, Jeff T. Martin heads as he comes out of turn number 1. I believe that's the 006 of Verlis Falcons. Your series points leader here, folks, Don King, started 7th, currently in 9th position as he works his way through the second turn. Just 1 point over the 13 of Thomas Axum, who we showed you early on. Thomas Axum, a lot of damage on that car here tonight, the New England driver. Started 10th, he's fallen back 10 positions here early on in this race. Was involved in that turn 1 caution that came out on the very first lap. Few notable drivers to mention around here. You've got the 38 of Bad Bob Wells, another New England driver. Started 21st. He's up to 15th and moving. A little bit of side-by-side action as Zach Coyer goes to the outside of the 71 of Wesley Whitfield. Here they come down the front stretch across the start-finish line. So your two drivers up front, Chevrolet Camaro, Daniel Roper takes back the race lead from John Hathaway Jr. It's been a little bit of leapfrog action between these two drivers. You can see they're making their way towards that third turn. This is race number 3 of the 9-race series, folks. Got to give a shout out to the league sponsors. We'll show you the poster here up on your screen. We're at Pocono. We'll be at Dover next week and Gateway in a couple weeks. So with 30 laps to go, let's take a look at the top 5 in the bottom left hand of your screen. Daniel Roper, John Hathaway Jr., Justin Michael, Jeff T. Martin, and Nick Reynolds are your top 5. Don King now up to 8th position as he looks to the inside of the 18 of Jay Anderson. Heading towards turn number 3. The 23 will pick up another position. Now into 7th position. Right behind Jay Anderson and David Backen. And that 72 Toyota Camry. Bob Wells trying to make a move on Zach Coyer here in turn number 1. They're going to be side by side as Bob Wells takes the low groove through the corner, and he's going to come out right in front of that 15. Zach Coyer gives up 14th position, or 13th position, excuse me, as they make their way towards turn number 2. Bob's going to throw the block, making sure he's not giving any room to Zach Coyer. Teddy Wisniewski and Nick Reynolds now battling it out as they come across the start-finish line into the front stretch towards turn number 1. Wisniewski in the Ford Mustang overtakes Nick Reynolds in that Rockstar Chevrolet Camaro. So it looks like the 61 of Daniel Roper now is pulling away from the 24 of John Hathaway Jr. as he heads into turn number 3. Nine laps now led for the number 61. Hathaway Jr. not too far back, climbing to about almost 9/10 of a second behind Roper as they go down the back straight towards turn number 2. Again, folks, this is Pocono, known as the Tricky Triangle. It's not your typical 4-turn racetrack. It's in the form of a triangle. Justin Michael still sitting pretty solid in 3rd position. And he's going to come in for his first pit stop. So the two leaders, Hathaway and Roper, are going to stay out. Teddy Wisniewski also making his way down pit road. Jeff T. Martin now up into third position, as he's right there behind the 89 of Matt Quick. That Grumpy Cat Chevrolet Camaro stares down the number 14 of Jeff T. Martin. Another driver new to the series in the 88 Tax Slayer car, and this Texas driver, Michael Genies, has done a really good job in the series. First couple of races, he's been placing pretty decent. Don King now. Take a look at this. Don King up to fourth position, as low as about 10th. He's made his way back through the field right in front of Nick Reynolds. The 77 that you see behind him is Jack Watts, who's currently sitting in the Lucky Dog position back in 21st place. Oh, Nick Reynolds into the wall. Starting to push. Looks like he's got some damage on that front right quarter panel. I imagine the crew chief's going to call him into the pits this time around, and there he comes. Rockstar Chevrolet Camaro with a Georgia driver behind it. That's the 54 of Nick Reynolds coming in for his pit stop. So Roper into turn number 2. Still leads the race with the 24 of John Hathaway Jr. right behind him. 9/10 of a second now. The great thing about this track, folks, is that it's a 2.5 mile track, so a lot of these guys who got early on pit stops didn't actually go down a lap. We still have 21 cars on the lead lap. Here comes Daniel Roper and John Hathaway Jr. for their pit stops. That's going to give the lead over to Don King, who actually is now coming down pit road. David Backen into turn number 1 will take over the race lead here with 23 to go. Thrustmaster 72. Toyota Camry out of turn number 1 has a sizable lead over Gary Bauer, who's right behind him. For these guys who took early on pit stops, it's going to be interesting to see how this is going to play out, if they're going to have enough to go the distance or if they'll have to make it a 3-stop pit stop. Zach Coyer, number 15 car, makes his way through turn number 3, will be coming in for his pit stop. And the rest of the field, as we see Verlis Felkins just in front of David Backen. Ivan Garcia now making his way down pit road as well, the Carolina driver. Started 20th, he's gotten up as high as 8th position. He's going to fall back just a little bit as that Ford Mustang makes its way to the pit box. So Gary Bauer elects to stay out as everybody else goes in, so he will take over the race lead with 22 to go, working his way through turn number 2. And here comes Gary Bauer now into the pits. So with that being said, Daniel Roper takes over the race lead now with 21 to go. The 61 back up front. The flip-flop of the pit stop action has pretty much completed for the first round as the 61 now moves into the first turn right behind him. There is John Hathaway Jr., 2 new guys in this series tonight, folks. And right behind him, surprisingly, Teddy Wisniewski. This is a driver that you always want to watch. Not the flashiest guy out there on the field per se, but he is very, very skilled in his racecraft to just sneak up at the right moment and take away that race lead. So we'll have to keep an eye on this number 9 Ford Mustang, as this New England driver now through turn number 3 is about 1 second behind Daniel Roper. Justin Michael not too far back there in 4th. As you watch him come down the front stretch, Jeff T. Martin rounding out your top 5. So there it is, folks, in your bottom left as we watch Jeff T. Martin head into turn number 1. Daniel Roper, John Hathaway Jr., Teddy Wisniewski, Justin Michael, and Jeff T. Martin are your top 5. Got a nice glimpse of that pad logo on the back end of that car, so you watch it come down the back straightaway there in the back wheel. It's People Against Distracted Driving, folks. Just want to let you know, check them out on the web, pad.org. They do what they can to be able to raise awareness to stop distracted driving. Once again, it's pad.org. So there is your race statistics as we continue to follow Jeff T. Martin through turn number 3. 20 laps have been completed. 4 lead changes and 1 caution. The only caution here tonight comes early on in turn number 1. There's an old saying that racers will tell you, you can't win a race in turn number 1, but you can definitely lose it there. And with the anxiousness to get under the race tonight, we had a caution in that first turn. So some of the drivers going against the grain just a little bit. Ryan Garand, I believe, was the only driver. So we had a total of 24 drivers register for the event, and Ryan Garand is the only one that's sitting in the pits. As we look back to 8th position now, Don King got up in front in first position for a little bit, not enough to qualify leading a lap, as this is such a big track. Looks behind the 72 of David Backen as he comes down the front stretch. Nice little battle brewing right there behind him as Robert Hewlin is to the outside. I believe that's the 77 of Jack Watts. Jack Watts, though, is a lap down, so not necessarily a position battle, but a nice little side-by-side race action. Oh, and some connection issues there from Robert Hewlin. Zach Coyer out in front of the 71 of Wesley Whitfield. Oh, and he gets into the wall through turn number 2. Wesley Whitfield's going to go right around him. And Zach Coyer is going to fall back to 14th position. Trey Patton right there behind, or that's Danny Rudy, excuse me. Danny Rudy is going to get a little tight and into the wall out of turn number 3. As you can see some damage on the front right of that Chevrolet Camaro as it makes its way down towards turn number 1. One of the series sponsors here tonight from Dan's Top Notch Heating and Cooling. You can see the paint scheme there on that Chevrolet. Oh, and he gets into the wall out of turn number 1. That car is looking really tight tonight as he pushed right into the wall. Have to see how he goes through turn number 2 as he's flirting once again with the whoa, and he's going to get right there behind Thomas Axon, who's got a fast repair. Michael D'Amico right there behind Danny Rudy's going to take the pass to the inside. As they follow Thomas Axum around. Axum in 19th position. D'Amico back there in 21st, right behind Rudy. Here they come out at turn number 3. Jumping back up at the race lead. Daniel Roper still has it with 16 to go as he comes out of turn number 3 down the front stretch. This 61 Chevrolet Camaro looking really solid as he picks up lap number 20 in the total laps led here tonight. Thought it was going to be 20. It's 19. I was waiting for that number to click over and it didn't do it for me. So 15 remain in this third race of the 9-race series. He begins to push towards the wall. John Hathaway Jr. right there behind him. He's only fallen off about 7/100ths of a second here in the last 5 laps behind Roper. These guys look really competitive early on. So it's possible that 24 NOS Toyota Camry is saving something for the leader later on in the race. Wisniewski, another driver we was talking about, has fallen back just a little bit. You see the Ford Mustang now make his way, and he's going to make it a 3-stop pit stop. Roper goes into the pits. 14 laps to go. This is going to be interesting as Hathaway stays out to take over the race lead with 14 to go. Coming out of turn number 1. As we follow that 24 NASCAR. Pit stops again are taking place here in Pocono. Folks, this is the Dash for Cash Xfinity Series brought to you by Dan's Top Notch Heating and Cooling, Pad.org, and the All-Pro Racing League. We're going to take a short commercial break. When we come back, we have some more race action for you. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. ladies and gentlemen, to Pocono Raceway this Wednesday as we follow Jeff T. Martin into the pits. There it is, 4 laps led for the Georgia driver. So John Hathaway Jr. now will regain the race lead here as he's got 6 laps led. Coming out of turn number 1, leads the 61 of Daniel Roper. Roper now finds himself a second back, so it's a little bit of flip-flop action as we got 9 to go in the race here. Watching Roper go through turn number 2. A lot of drivers here tonight have been pushing really high out of these turns, getting into the walls. These are the 2 drivers up front. Teddy Wisniewski back in 4th position after that early on pit stop move. Gary Bauer, this is your guy, up in 3rd. The 27 Chevrolet coming down the front stretch. Credited with 2 laps led here tonight. Finds himself about 4.5 seconds behind Hathaway. So Jeff T. Martin back out onto the track. We follow him through into turn number 1. 4 laps led. Doesn't sound like a lot, folks, but I'm going to go ahead and put up the race information there for you. Doesn't sound like a lot of laps led at your typical racetrack, but there it is, folks. 2.5 miles is the length, and you can see Pocono Raceway. That is the shape of the track, and they call it the tricky triangle. Turn 2 is one of the trickiest parts of this track. Turn 3 can also look deceiving, as it looks like it's more of a gradual curve, but it's actually a lot tighter than what you would expect. So it's 76 degrees in the air, 50% humidity, mostly cloudy, and 87 degrees. A little bit of change. They're running that dynamic weather. Where typically they would run what they call speed weather. It'd be the settings to about 65 degrees with some overcast, and looks like this new dynamic weather is working really well here today. Couple races early on in the series had over 5 cautions per race, and today a little bit less, considerably less actually, 1 caution. We pull up the summary statistics. Lap traffic, you see 34 laps, 7 lead changes, 1 caution. And look at this battle brewing up here into turn number 1. As now Roper closes the gap as Hathaway Jr. flirts with the wall out of turn number 1. Here they come down the back straightaway. And Hathaway tries to maintain that lead, and look at that time. He was out to about a second lead, got into the lap traffic, and now it's only about 2 tenths. And a caution flag flies. And I think it might possibly be... We follow some of these guys. I think it's possibly Axum. Go back and take a look here. So we pull up the replay for you. So it's not Axum, as he was pulling into the pits. Wow, and Robert Hewlin having a little bit of connection issues. Look at some of the other drivers around the field. Not exactly seeing it. Matt Quick. I tell you, Matt Quick, not really in the position you typically would find him. He's back there in 23rd position. Catch it back up there. Matt Quick, this guy's been known to be up there in the top 5, top 10 at least, and today not been having a good day so far. See if we can pull him in. Had a chance to talk with him at a couple other tracks as we see some guys checking up down there. Matt Quick, this is Dustin Caldwell in the booth. Are you there?
Doing all right, buddy. How are you?
Doing good. I tell you what, looking as we watch you go through the turn here, a little bit fish out of water mode, as we'll call it, being back there in 23rd position. Tell us a little bit about what you're facing here at Pocono.
You're facing 3 different turns here. It's very challenging. Each one kind of offers its own different thing of expertise per se, and you just got to race the track. You can't really worry about other people. Just race the track.
And how's this new paint scheme working out for you?
Oh man, I really love this new paint scheme. I gotta thank Loose Lug Nuts and John Hendrick for hooking me up with this new Squatty Potty scheme. So it's been helping me like pushing and shoving all race long, and it's pretty good, I think. Still
got that notable grumpy cat that stares down the drivers behind us. We watch you head into turn 1, get a nice view of it. Is that your good luck charm, would you say?
Yeah, I would say it's my good luck charm or trademark or however you want to say it. People know it's me.
All right, buddy. Was there any shout-outs you'd like to give?
As always, man, I can't thank John Hendrick enough for working on this car. I was very particular how I wanted it, and I probably drove him nuts about it. And he did a very nice job. As always, I got to thank Squatty Potty. As you know, if you can't get the last scoop of the ice cream cone, get a Squatty Potty. It helps shove it all out. You got some Rocky Road shoved in there? Let it all out. Squatty Potty. Go to squattypotty.com.
There you go. Good spokesman for the company. Thank you much for your time, Matt. Best of luck to you in the remainder of the race.
Thanks, Dustin.
So with 4 laps to go, we're going to see if we can pull in one of the new guys here. Let's see if we can get number 24 of John Hathaway on the line. This is Dustin Caldwell in the booth looking for that number 24 of John Hathaway. John, you there?
Hey, what's going on?
Not much. Just watching a good battle brewing between you and Daniel Roper. But it looks like something has happened to Roper's car. He's sitting back in 7th. Tell us a little bit about how the track's been handling for you. It looks like you've been pushing a little bit. I've seen you flirting with the wall coming out of turn 1 a couple of times. Just how overall is the car handling here?
Well, it's been pretty tight most of the day. There was a practice earlier we had. There was a lot cooler weather, and then we came here. The weather was different, but just really tight. I started up there with Dan, and we had a couple of good runs. We were really even on pace, like speed wise, and we pitted right there, and we came out and we were even the entire run, and then he short pitted, and I figured he would take 4, so I came down the next lap and took 2, and I had a pretty big lead, and I thought as long as I'm smooth, I'll be okay. And then I was getting some really bad luck with the lap traffic, and he caught me super fast. I was praying for a break, and I wasn't getting it. Those guys are out there racing too, so you can't always expect that. And then I have a brake pedal issue. Something happened with it, so now I push it down like a quarter of the way, and it's like full brake for some reason. So I'm dealing with some issues, but we're gonna have 1 lap here, so hopefully I can bring it back home.
Is there any shout-outs you'd like to give while we got you on the line?
Not tonight. This is my first race here in quite some time, so not tonight, unfortunately, but probably in the near future.
Not one person you can give a shout-out to.
Not anyone that's watching. Not anyone that's watching.
All right,
my beautiful girlfriend Jenna, maybe.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Give one to the significant other, definitely. So, all right. Well, best of luck to you in the remainder of the race, there, John.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Got to have a shout out, at least in the back pocket, and he goes to the significant other. Ladies and gentlemen, there is the 24 of John Hathaway Jr., new guy here in the series. We're going to pull up the guy that's going to be starting to the outside, looking pretty solid now. Teddy Wisniewski, this is Dustin Caldwell in the booth. Are you there?
Yeah, man, how are you?
Pretty good. It's going to be a Ford-Toyota battle when we go back to green. Going to have 1 lap to go. Tell us what you may have there for that 24 car.
I don't know. He's pretty quick. It's been a pretty eventful race for me, but I'm going to try to pinch him down as much as I can in turn 1 and get the jump off, but to be honest, I don't know. It'll be a miracle if I can finish this one off.
Well, you've been looking pretty solid here tonight. Any particular corners you're worrying about? You got 2 other ones to choose from.
Yeah, it's turn 1. Turn 1's been my Achilles heel all night. Turn 3's fine. Tunnel turn's pretty fine. I just, if I can keep him side by side with me, I can keep pinching him down as much as I need to throughout the rest of the track. I just don't think I can. I'm gonna hope for it though, so we'll see.
All right. Well, is there any shout out you want to give here as you get down the back straightaway?
Oh, of course. I always want to give a shout out to PAD, a great organization, pad.org. Everyone go check them out. People Against Distracted Driving. Dan Stop Not Cheating Cooling and Michelangelo's Painting. Always great supporters for this series.
All right. Well, best of luck to you in that last lap there, Teddy.
Thank you.
There you have it, folks. Teddy Wisniewski with a little bit of words. He's going to be starting to the outside of the number 24, your series points leader, the 23 of Don King. Will be starting in third slot inside that second row, and David back in the 72. Toyota Camry will be to the outside as your front four. They come through that tunnel turn number 2, heading towards the last turn number 3. Here is your race statistics for you, folks. Back away the camera just a little bit. There it is, 38 laps completed. It'll soon to be 39. It'll be a green-white checkered here, folks. 7 lead changes, 2 cautions. There is your top 5. Hathaway, Wisniewski, King, Backend and Anderson. Here we go. One more lap this time around. Pace car into the pits. There goes the flag. And Hathaway Jr. not wasting any time. He's going to get out to the race lead. No caution flag can save it now. It all comes down to this. 3 more turns, now 2. Look at the battle between Wisniewski, and he's going to turn Hathaway. Don King to the inside. Oh my gosh. Wisniewski's got the race lead. Oh, there goes a big crash to the inside. There's Hathaway into the inside. Roper. Now Roper's going to get spun. Oh, wow, they are going to be taken out. Daniel Roper has got some daylight ahead of the rest of the field. And this guy has one more turn to go. One of the new guys in the series through turn number 3. Down the front stretch, it's going to be Daniel Roper, your race winner. Michael Genies and Don King rounding out your top 3. And the 61 takes the victory after a major controversial last lap here at Pocono. It almost looked like a gladiatorial battle in ancient Roman times between all those cars. Every man for himself, not caring about the budget and the hard work put into that car in the last lap, and it almost became a demolition derby. Teddy Wisniewski had it wrapped up till the tunnel turn, and then he got taken out. Here is your race winner, folks. Daniel Roper. So we're going to take a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll have some driver interviews for you. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. great sponsor there, folks, pad.org. Check them out on the web. People Against Distracted Driving, doing what they can to prevent distraction behind the wheel. There is your front three. Top three tonight, Daniel Roper, Michael Genies, and Don King. Let's take a look at your top 10 results before we go to the driver interviews. There it is. Going back to fourth, Wesley Whitfield, Jeff T. Martin rounding out your top five. Justin Michael, Robert Hewlin, Jay Anderson, Nick Reynolds, and Hathaway, who had the lead, got a little bit of a nudge from the 9 of Teddy Wisniewski in turn number 1. As Teddy Wisniewski mentioned trying to pinch him in turn number 1. He did so a little bit. Got the 24 loose, and it causes him to finish here in 10th position. Let's go ahead and head over to Don King, your series points leader coming into tonight's race, and taking that Chevrolet Camaro all the way up to the podium here tonight. Don, tell us a little bit about how Pocono handled for you and what it means to finish third here tonight.
Oh, I tell you what, man, it feels great for me to finish third here. This is probably one of my worst tracks. The car felt a little bit tight. I stopped on that first caution and got some tires. I fell way back to through the field, and it was a hard-fought battle to get back up there to the front. I feel almost like I won here. It's a great feeling.
And you're able to come through the controversy in that last lap and be able to finish third here tonight. Looked pretty solid. I believe when I take a look here at the statistics, you didn't get actually qualify as the lap lead, but you found yourself up front during the pit sessions. Did there any particular strategies? A lot of guys tried the short pit strategy, not necessarily working out for them here tonight. Was that something that you were looking at, or what was your overall strategy to keep yourself competitive?
Actually, that's why I pitted on that first caution. It was very early caution, and I was hoping it would get me off sequence with the leaders. I mean, sometimes that'll save you, sometimes it'll bite you, but tonight it worked out good for us. And I could stay out a couple more laps when they ended up having to pit, because I believe it was 4 or 5 laps in, and I believe that's what got me up at the front at the end there. I did short pit the last one, but that was kind of the setup for the early pit stop, so I had a little room to play with at the end, and it worked out good for us tonight.
All right. Was there any shout-outs you'd like to give?
Oh, absolutely. Always got to thank Michelangelo's Painting and Dan's Top Notch Heating and Cooling. John Hedrick over there at Paint Shop, Over the Top Paints and Designs. You can find him on Facebook. Pad.org. It's another great sponsor we got going here. And always give a shout-out to CFF. And shout-out to all the viewers out there watching. If you're watching, I hope you enjoyed the show.
All right, Don. Well, we look forward to seeing you next week when we head into Dover, but congratulations tonight on your third place finish here at Pocono.
Thank you, sir. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Well, there you have it, folks. Don King coming in third here tonight. A guy not too far ahead of him. It's a very close finish for a second. Looked really solid. Michael, I tell you, taking that Tax Slayer number 88 all the way to second position tonight. Tell us a little bit about how this tricky triangle held for the 88 team.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun tonight. It's just trying to take care of your tires and stay out of trouble, stay out of the wall. But we had fun.
Is there any shout-outs you'd like to give tonight?
Yeah, we got our series sponsors, Dan Heating and Cooling, of course, you Digital Force Broadcasting, Nick Reynolds, Michael D'Amico, Michelangelo's Paint Body, and that's about it. I mean, appreciate it. Had fun.
All right, Michael, congratulations finishing second here tonight. We'll see you next week when we head into Dover.
And four.
So we go from second place all the way to a guy that finishes up front in that HPM Chevrolet Camaro. Daniel, what a controversial last lap to come through it all. Starting in 7th position, you're able to work your way through all the animosity there out of turn number 1. Took the lead right before the tunnel turn, and it was off to the races after that.
Yeah, first off, I'd like Michelangelo's, Dan's Heating and Cooling, Pad, Digital Forge, Broadcasting, All Pro, the Great League, and Over the Top Paints. Before I talk about my night, I'd like to thank all those guys. Yeah, it was a fun night. Started on the pole, had a good car. Wasn't really hoping for that caution there at the end, but I figured, John was pretty even with me all run, so you know what? I figured have to take 4 tires, try to get through the field, and ended up working out when those guys all got bottlenecked in turn 1. Chose the right lane.
And it does work out indeed. So we finish up victorious here tonight at race number 3. Next week we head into Dover. What can we expect from the 61 team?
Yeah, Dover's always been one of my best tracks in iRacing. So expect to be somewhere around the front. Not sure we'll have the same speed as we did tonight, but hopefully we'll be up front.
Is there any additional shout-outs you'd like to give tonight?
Yeah, OEM Metrics, HPM, High Performance Motorsports, Peak Antifreeze, and iRacing. All the guys that make this happen.
All right. Well, congratulations taking victory through a very controversial last lap there. It was neat to see the green-white checkered and all the guys putting it on the line in that last lap, but you remained victorious, never to say the less. Got around a guy you battled with all night. We'll look forward to seeing what you guys heading into the Monster Mile next week.
Thanks, bud.
Well, there you have it, folks. That is your driver interviews for tonight. What a very controversial last lap, to say the least. I mean, it was a lot of wrecking taking place there. Let's take a look at the results one last time before we sign out. Daniel Roper, Michael Genies, Don King, Wesley Whitfield, Jeff T. Martin are your top 5. Justin Michael, Robert Hewlin, Jay Anderson, Nick Reynolds, John Hathaway Jr. your top 10. Teddy Wisniewski, David Beck, and Gary Bauer, Jack Watts, Bob Wells your top 15. Zach Coyer, Thomas Axum, Ivan Garcia, Danny Rudy, Trey Patton. Rounds out 20. D'Amico, Felkins, Quick, and Guerin will round out the field here tonight. What a great race, though. Final summary. Bottom left, 40 laps, 8 lead changes, 2 cautions. It's a great race here at Pocono. We look forward to seeing what the Monster Miles got next week on tap, as it's race number 4 of this 9-race series. Again, folks, check out pad.org. People Against Distracted Driving, as they do what they can to keep everybody safe behind the wheel. Also want to thank Dan's Top Notch Heating and Cooling, Michelangelo's Painting, and the All-Pro Racing League for being able to put on this great show for you here tonight. We will be back in action to pick up the iCar Cup Series tomorrow night. But that will do it for us here this evening, folks. Thanks for tuning in to the Digital Forge Broadcasting Network. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button so you'll stay in the know as to when we go live. But I'm Dustin Caldwell saying thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow night.